Hi everyone, this is Mix from Sneaks and Ball PH, and today we have a detailed review on the Anta GH2 Chinese New Year. Before we get started, if you do like the video, please make sure to leave a thumbs up down below. Then if you have any comments, questions, or any suggestions for future videos, please feel free to leave them in the comment section down below as well. I'll also be leaving a link to the SNBPH Sneaker Hunters Facebook group down in the description box. So I do really hope that you can join because that is a place where we talk about sneakers and basketball quite a lot. And it's also where I course my monthly giveaways. Then if you haven't already, please make sure to sub to the channel because it really does help us out quite a lot. Then with that out of the way, let's take a look at the Anta GH2. The Anta GH2, as the name implies, is Gordon Hayward's second signature shoe with Anta. And from just having the shoe with me for a couple of weeks now, I can definitely say that Anta has been doing a good job with Gordon Hayward's signature shoes. I wasn't able to get the GH1 last year because I had to prioritize reviewing other shoes, but I did see a lot of reviews on the shoe and I actually had some friends who had the shoe as well, and they all really enjoyed it because it was a solid performing basketball shoe both indoors and outdoors. I really do hope though that people do start warming up even more to Chinese brand shoes because for the most part they do perform really well on court. In terms of Anta, the GH1 was really good and the GH2 seems pretty solid as well. Then for the Klay Thompson line, just the KT1 and KT6 are the ones that I didn't really like. But for the most part, the KT2, the KT3, the KT4, and the KT5 were all superb basketball shoes. So to see how these stack up against the past Anta signature shoes and also the signature shoes from the major brands right now, let's take a look at the tech specs on the GH2. So for the traction, you do have a mix of white and red solid rubber with a tiger stripe inspired pattern all throughout. The tiger stripe pattern is basically a lot of wavy lines going in all directions. And after trying it a bit here at home and trying it once on court, it definitely feels super grippy. It also doesn't seem like it'll pick up a lot of dust because the grooves are widely spaced, and I do think that these will perform well whether you're on a clean or dusty court. The durability also seems really good because even though the grooves aren't the deepest or they're also not the thickest, the rubber is really hard, and that's pretty much consistent with a lot of Chinese shoes because they do make their outsoles a lot better for outdoor use. Then for the cushion, the Anta GH2 makes use of a full-length Alti-Flash midsole, and this is actually the same foam that they used on the KT6. The problem with the KT6 is that it was caged so much so you really couldn't feel anything, plus that shoe was super stiff. But with the GH2, I think they implemented it much better. On foot though, the cushion doesn't feel nearly as soft as when you poke it with your finger, and it's because the foam directly underneath your foot is actually not as thick as what you see on the outside because a good amount of the foam does come up for lateral support. If I were to describe how the cushion feels, it's like an upgraded version of Bounce, but it's definitely not at the level of React from Nike, Boost from Adidas, or even Tai Chi foam from Peak. It is a pretty balanced cushion setup though because you do have a little bit of comfort and a little bit of plushness with a teeny bit of bounce back and a lot of stability. So overall, the cushion on the GH2 is definitely not mind-blowing or amazing, but it'll definitely be adequate, and if you like a very balanced cushion setup, then I think you'll like these. Then for the materials, it is pretty interesting because the GH2, just like the GH1, comes in more than one material. You have some colorways that have this sort of fuse or synthetic leather. You have some that look like they're made of some sort of knit. Then you have my Chinese New Year colorway that has a full textile upper. But you have this very unique feel to it because it is so tightly woven that it's kind of like an ornamental kind of curtain, which I really do find interesting, and it actually feels really premium as well. I would definitely recommend that if you get a GH2, then look for a colorway that has either this material or the one that looks like knit, because I really don't think that in 2021 fuse is the way to go. Then for the inner boot, the tongue is made of this thin layer of soft neoprene with some very open-celled mesh on top. Then here at the heel portion of the inner boot, you have that same neoprene, and you also have very comfy Achilles pillows. The materials, at least in this colorway, feel pretty premium and really comfy on foot, and it's definitely really nice that the materials feel this good because the KT6 was just super plasticky. So if you're all about those materials, I think this shoe in this colorway definitely is the way to go. Then for fit and sizing, I did go true to size with the GH1, and it fits me pretty well. I did go with my standard size 10, and it fit me pretty well widthwise. It's just that there was a little bit of length here at the toe, which kind of makes me feel like I could have gone gone down half a size, but maybe this wing would have pinched my foot. So in the end, I think I was perfectly fine going through the size. If you do have a narrow foot though, I think you can get away with going down half a size. So my recommendation for the sizing is that if you have a narrow foot, try and go down half a size. Then if you have a normal width foot or a wide foot, go through the size. Then for the aesthetic details, as you can see, there is a lot going on with this colorway. Starting off with the outsole, you do have mostly white solid rubber, with the red rubber here at the middle of the forefoot, and a red Anta logo here at the tip of the toe. Then here at the midfoot, you do have this cute little detail because you have what I believe is the state of Indiana, and there is a basketball pattern on it, so I think this was made to pay homage to, where he grew up in Indiana, and also how Indiana is still kind of regarded as the heartland of basketball. Then on the midfoot as well, you can see that plastic shank plate that actually goes up to the medial side, and it also has that tiger stripe pattern just like the outsole. Then moving on to the midsole, that Alti Flash foam is all red, and then on the lateral side you can see the support pieces with those plastic teeth, and that sort of midfoot wing that also has the Anta logo. In my opinion, this was a really good way of incorporating the Anta logo because it's also the support piece, and it just really looks cool and it's pretty ingenious as well. Then for the upper, there is definitely a lot going on, but they are just mostly Chinese inspired details, and the main layer is actually white. It's just that you have this thicker pattern with all of the reds, the oranges, a little bit of green, a little bit of yellow, and it just looks super interesting, super loud, and super intricate as well. It definitely does live up to the name because this is the Chinese New Year colorway, and when you see it, there is no denying that it's a Chinese New Year shoe. Then for the other parts of the shoe, the inner boot and the laces are also all red. Then for your other smaller details, you do have gold Anta branding here on the tongue tab, and then on that midfoot bungee strap, you actually have what seems to be the theme of the shoe, which is the go hard, because it has this really interesting mechanism where it says Gordon Hayward, but when you fold it up and kind of lace it up already, it says go hard. And think what you might, but I mean, they did have good intentions by putting that on there. It's just, you can also think of it a different way. But you also have this tiny tab here at the heel which says every time, every play. So more motivational little tidbits there. And then on the toe, it actually does say Gordon Hayward. However, you do have debossed portions that, spell out go hard. So there's the theme again. So, take it as you will, but Anta wants you to go hard. Then for the last few details, you do have Anta debossed here on the middle side of the forefoot, Alti Flash branding here at the heel of the lateral side, an embossed 20 here at the heel, and this Chinese character here at the leather part of the heel tab. I don't really know how to read Chinese, so I can't tell you what this means, but maybe it's Happy New Year or something. But if there's anyone who can read Chinese or who is Chinese and is watching this video, please leave a comment down below on what this means. Then for the overall aesthetics, I do really like how the GH2 looks overall. I definitely think it's better than its predecessor, the GH1, in terms of aesthetics, as well as Anta's other signature shoe, the KT6. I also really love this colorway because it is pretty loud, and I also appreciate that, they made it a Chinese New Year themed shoe, and they definitely did go all out. I know there are a lot of other Chinese New Year inspired shoes, especially when Nike used to do it with the Jordans, like the Year of the Dragons, or the other colorways that they had similar to those, but they never really went all out like how Anta did with this colorway, so I definitely think that that's to be commended. As I said, I really like how they incorporated the Anta logo with this one, and it's also in gold, so that makes it pop from the red. And overall, I think this is definitely one of the best looking China basketball shoes we've had in a while. Then for the price, the Anta GH2 retails for 5,495 pesos here in the Philippines, or $105 US. At $105 US or 5,495 pesos, I think this is definitely a great deal because you have reliable and really durable traction, a very balanced cushion setup, and in terms of the materials, if you get this colorway or some of the other colorways with that knit upper, it's very comfortable and surprisingly premium feeling. Then for my pair in particular, I was actually able to get it from Gio from Unorthodox, and I definitely appreciate him helping me get this pair because I did really like it the moment I saw this colorway unveiled. So if you want to check out his channel and his reviews, definitely click the link in the description box down below. If you are in the US, it might be a little hard to get these, but a nice site would be Fuji Sneakers because they do have a lot of Chinese branded shoes, and they also have some sales every now and then. But if you are in the Philippines, these are available on Lazada. Just make sure that you're getting them from the official site on the Lazmall, and it's actually really great because they are on sale right now, so they're just retailing for 4,395 pesos. Then with the right combination of vouchers, you can actually get it down to as low as 3,796 96 pesos. If you can get it at that price, which essentially converts to like 75 to 80 US dollars, I think it's a definite steal for a quality basketball shoe like the Anta GH2. So there you have it, guys. That was my detailed review on the Anta GH2. Once again, if you haven't already yet, please make sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon for notifications. It would help us out a lot here at Sneaks and Ball PH.